All right, good evening. It is now 6 o'clock on November the 12th, 2025. I'll call to order this meeting for the Effingham County Planning Board. Our first item will be roll call.
Chairman Ryan Thompson.
Present.
Vice Chairman Jake Patrick.
Here.
Mr. Neil Kessler.
Here.
Mr. Walter Boykin.
Here.
Ms. Lindsay Smith.
Here.
All members are present.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, our next item is the invocation. Mr. Neil Kessler is going to give us the invocation. I about called him by a different name. The invocation, if you are able to please stand, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance immediately following.
Okay, let's pray. Father, thank you so much for this time you've given us, Lord. Thank you for this country. Thank you for all those that have served our country, Lord, and the ones that have gone on. Thank you for their service. Be with their families, and the ones that are overseas, Lord. Please bring them home safe. And thank you for all you do for us, Lord. Thank you for all our blessings to be born in this country. Help us to make decisions that you will be proud of, that are, just a good, solid discussion on issues, and just help us to make the decisions that are the right decisions, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Appreciate everyone standing for that. The next item, item number 5, is the agenda approval. Are there any changes from staff
No
standpoint?
changes.
With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion we accept the minutes from October 14th.
The agenda.
The agenda, I'm sorry. Wrong thing.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. Next item, now we're moving on to minutes.
I'm sorry.
It's all
I'm
good.
sorry.
It's all good. Item number 6, consideration of the minutes from our previous meeting, to approve the meeting minutes from October 14th, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are accepted. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to the next item, item number 7. Public comments. Comments shall pertain to the agenda items only. Should you wish to make remarks, please come forward. Make sure all the comments are at the podium there. Try to speak into the microphone. This is it's recorded. It's also, as you can see, it's also on our YouTube channel. So please do make sure you come forward. State your full name into the microphone before commencing to speak. The agenda package has been, the next item, the agenda package for correspondence has been posted for the meeting on the county website. Any additional documents by the applicant or anybody that's in opposition shall be submitted to our clerk for receipt and recording and distribution to this board. Moving on, we'll move into new business. All items that are presented tonight, we are a recommending body to the Board of Commissioners. We don't make a final decision. It's just a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. That will be presented to the Board of Commissioners at their public meeting, public hearing portion of the Board of Commissioners meeting on December the 2nd, 2025. It's back in the same room. It's at the same time at 6 o'clock. The meeting actually starts at 5. People get confused with that sometimes. The meeting starts at 5. They go through their agenda. They'll stop at 6 and pick back up the planning board items and go through those through the night and then pick the meeting back up. So the meeting for the planning board items does start at 6. Before we move into any of the specific public hearing items, just to keep me from saying this, and I probably will repeat it, but each applicant gets 15 minutes to present their proposal, and then there will be 15 minutes allocated for opposition if there is opposition to any item. I think we've got the clock running. If we don't, we keep track of it on the phone. We'll let you know and try to give you a little heads up. With that, please do be cognizant of trying not to repeat things that others have said, so we can make sure we get as many people that want to speak as possible can speak. All good? All right, well, moving on to public hearing item number 1. in new business. Minnie Wilder, actually, I need to back up. Almost went too quick. Almost did too quick. I almost went too quick. Neil needs to recuse himself, so.
Make a motion to recuse Neil Kessler from item number 1.
Now we have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll send about to get you there, Neil. We'll let him leave and resume. All right, moving on. Sorry about that. Public hearing item number 1, Minnie Wilder request to rezone plus or minus 2.44 acres from AR1 to AR2. This is to allow permitted uses in the AR2 district. The property is located at 558 Cletus Gannan Road. This is the 4th district, map number 444, parcel 31 and 31A. Miss Chelsea, do you have some?
Yes, sir. So again, the applicant is proposing to rezone the approximate 2.44 acres to AR2, which again is our agricultural residential district of 1 acre or more. This will bring the properties into conformance. And what the applicant would like to do is be able to place a mobile home on map parcel 444-31A, as you see there on your screen, without requiring a variance process for setbacks. So they will be able to meet setbacks under the AR2 zoning district.
So just placing the structure wasn't the issue, it's resolving the fact that the structure wouldn't meet the setbacks in AR1?
Correct, yes, sir. And so by them also going to AR2, it does bring them into zoning conformance as well.
Okay.
So the future land use map does project this area as agricultural residential. The predominant use of land within this area is for single-family and multifamily dwelling units organized into general categories based on net densities. And this is from the Effingham County 2020 to 2040 Joint Comprehensive Plan. So staff has reviewed the application and it is complete.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Any questions for Chelsea before we move on? Is the applicant present that would like to come forward and speak? Yes, sir. Please come forward. State your name, please, if you would, in the microphone, and tell us any additional information you might have.
I'm scared of microphone, so y'all bear with me.
That's okay. It will
Okay,
bite.
it's Gene Alton Wilder Jr., and that's my mother over there, Minnie Wilder. I used to live in a mobile home on that property, and then after I got married, we relocated a mobile home, and so it's a pre-existing mobile home site. The septic tank and water and the electricity is already there. So my sons wanted to get married, and all we want to do is put another mobile home back there for him and his wife to reside in,
And this is rezoning 2 parcels?
just the one.
So the 2.44 acres would cover both 444-31A and 444-31. So if you just want to do the 444-31A, that acreage would be a little different. And I'm gonna pull that up. Hold on 1 second. So the acreage is 1.424 for just the 444-31A parcel.
Okay, but the application actually did say 31 and 31A, right? Okay. But you own both of the parcels, 31 and 31A?
My
She,
mother.
she does, yeah, sorry. Okay, other questions of the applicant? Anything, Ms. Smith? Good. All right, if you just take a seat and see if there's anybody in opposition. All right, before we go to that, is anybody else that'd like to speak in favor of this application? All right, seeing that there's none, is there anyone that'd like to speak in opposition to this application? Okay, seeing that there's none, I will close the public hearing and open it up for discussion amongst the board. Chelsea, I guess I got
Yes,
a
sir.
question related to, this is one of those instances where the properties are already under the size the zoning requires originally. And I know months ago, we talked about somehow tracing or tracking these that we bring into conformance that were already non-conforming, and we were doing that for a purpose, but somehow for the future, being able to track and understand that when somebody looks at a zoning map, that there was a purpose behind that, whether either some different crosshatch or anything related to that. I just say that because I don't want it to be a precedent for other things to start happening in the area related to transition from AR1 to AR2. Has there been any other discussion or progress on that idea?
Not specifically on that, but I will say, specifically for 444-31A, the coming into conformance is really kind of a subset or an extra benefit as being able to put the mobile home on the site without having to apply for the variance was the initial reason the applicant did come in. So again, just that coming into conformance is secondary.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion?
Just curiosity, kind of follow up on that same thing. It wouldn't be easier just to do a variance versus a whole new rezoning, but I'm assuming y'all would prefer to see it as in conformance.
Right. Yes, sir.
Anything else? All right. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning of map number 444, parcel 31 and 31A.
All right, we have a proper motion by Mr. Boykin. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Motion is seconded by Mr. Patrick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, the motion passes. All right, thank you. Do make sure you plan to be at the Board of Commissioners meeting. Good. All right, now we need a motion to let Mr. Kessler come back in.
I make a motion to bring Mr. Neil Kessler back into the meeting.
All right, we have a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays. All right. Welcome back. Let him get seated. I remembered your name the whole time you were gone.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna watch it on tape.
All right. Moving on to public hearing number 2. Johnny Henderson as agent for Brookstone, request to rezone plus or minus 2.14 acres from R1 to AR2 to allow for permitted uses in AR2. The property is located at 604 Goshen Road. This is the 2nd District, map number 451D, parcel 1. Miss Chelsea.
Yes, sir. So again, the applicant is proposing to rezone the 2.14 acres to AR2, which is, again, that agricultural residential district of 1 acre or more, specifically for an event venue. Event venues are not a permitted use within the R1 zoning district. Here is a larger area shot of where that parcel is located. Per the application, the applicant would like to be able to have the event venue so that residents within the county would have a place for events and gatherings. This parcel does fall within the agricultural residential area within the future land use map. Again, the predominant land use within this area is for single-family and multifamily dwelling units organized into general categories based on net densities. Currently, this parcel is showing that it has a single-family home on it, but I believe it is used as a church. So staff has reviewed the application, and the application is complete with the following conditions: that any encroachments onto Goshen Road must be reviewed and approved by the county engineer, and that the applicant must obtain and keep in good standing an Effingham County occupational tax certificate, which is our business license.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Is the event venue by right or is it a conditional use?
Within AR2, it is by right. No, I apologize. It is a conditional use. Their conditional use should, when this moves forward, will be heard the same night that the board hears this rezoning. So
Okay,
that
so
would be the December.
That
2nd.
will be noticed separately as, in
Yes, sir.
addition to the rezoning for the Board of Commissioners?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions from Ms. Chelsea?
So they have to change the zoning from R1 to R2 to get the conditional?
Right, so they have to go from R1 to AR2 to be able to have that conditional use.
No conditional in R1.
No, it is
Okay.
not permitted in R1.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, generally, there's a few additional uses that are allowed in the ag districts a little bit that the residential strictly don't allow,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
Any other questions of staff?
This wouldn't be better fit for like a light commercial?
I mean, that is permitted. An event venue is permitted, in a B1. However, I think, looking at the area surrounded by residential, I think this staff suggested that this was a better way for them to move forward. But that being said, it is up to you guys.
Any other questions?
I think we're good.
All right, if the applicant's present, please come forward and tell us a bit more about what you're proposing.
Mr. Henderson was called out of town for work, but had to come back today to take his mother to the doctor, and I was hoping he'd get here by the time I came up. But I represent him. I'm Julie Hales. I'm a real estate agent with Next Move Real Estate, and I'm representing him with the purchase of this property. And can you stop that thing? So the rezoning was applied for with a continual use, with a conditional use. It is currently being used as a church, and he wants to make a small event venue there.
Okay.
Just hear your name.
Oh, yeah, can you repeat your name again?
Julie Hales.
Julie Hales.
Will
So-
the church remain?
No, I say it's currently being used. They still have their stuff in there, but I don't think they're using it right now. Most of the people who are in charge of.
You're down to 54.
Okay. My blood sugar's getting low, that's why that's going off. A lot of the stuff from the church is still in the building, but I don't think they're actually operating out of it now. But I mean, their speaker system, their chairs, everything is still in there, right?
Gotcha.
And you said it was a residence, but it's not a residence. It has a his and hers bathroom, it has an office, it has a kitchen set up for like a catering option, and then it has a sanctuary.
Yeah, this is just a unique one, right, for us?
Yeah, it is.
To
It
downzone
is.
from our district to an AR district, but
And-
then to
and-
allow a perceived more intense use than
Right.
a residential use is,
Yeah.
so,
And it's not being used for residential now,
right.
but it does have to be the AR2 to get it into conditional use. And as she said, that's what we were advised to do, that it would be easier to do it that way.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was a little, this discussion helped me understand it a bit more too, because I was trying to wrap my head around, that's why I asked the question about the conditional use, and I wanted to be clear that like, this board's just recommending on the rezoning, so it could potentially be a down zone to rezone it to AR2. And the conditional use could or could not be
Right.
approved, right? So
And he's
that's,
applied for both, and
Right.
we're aware that'll be done at the same time at the county commissioners meeting next
Okay.
month.
okay. All right, yeah, any other questions?
Julian, I know you may not know the answer to this, but if you do you know like what capacity like the venue will hold? Do you know how many people or anything?
I think it's probably gonna be about 150,
Okay.
without him doing any additions to the building. And he's been told by the county, if he does that all his plans will have to be approved by the county before he does any type of restructuring.
Okay. So at this time, is he planning to do?
I don't think he will in the beginning. That's something he may do later on.
Okay.
But it's got a pretty good sized sanctuary in it. Like I said, it's got a separate kitchen. If they wanted to bring catering in, it's already there.
Traffic, little concern I have on coming out, especially with 150, and, you know, you could get 150 vehicles in there, in and out. Just a concern I have a little bit on it.
It may not even take that many. But I told him I think it would take 100 right now, but he's thinking that he might be able to squeeze 150 in, but I think it's gonna be somewhere closer to 100.
You don't know, I guess the hours of operation would be, you know, like 5 to 10, something like that, possibly, or?
I think it would definitely be after normal work hours, yeah.
Gotcha.
Unless he had some business that wanted to do luncheons in there for, you know, corporate meetings or that type of thing, but I think most of it'll be weekend and evening.
Okay.
Chelsea, the map we're looking at right now
Yes,
is
sir.
directly adjacent to another agricultural zoning. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes, sir. So that darker green color, that is your AR1, and then the light green color on the screen is your AR2.
So on three sides, it's got
AR1.
as AR1. Okay. Yeah, again, that's why I brought up the conditional use part of it. 150 people is going to be a lot of cars. I don't know how big the sanctuary was and how many people was in there, but just be prepared to have good answers, I think, during the conditional use process, because that,
And they gave
if I
him
were
some-
if I were there, I'd have a bunch of questions about the conditional use part of it.
And when we met with them before, they gave some good pointers about as far as how many parking spaces he was gonna have to have, and how many of those had to be handicapped, and how many of them had to be gravelled. So he's already working on all that.
Okay.
And it's on its own septic and well, and he was told what he would have to do to make those requirements as well.
Okay. Anything else?
Miss Julie, I don't know if you know or not, but has anyone talked to the neighbors or about possible noise concerns or anything like that, or
Not to
no?
my knowledge. I know that there's a rezoning sign in front of the property.
You know where they're planning on putting, I assume in the back?
Yeah, most of the property is actually behind it, so he's gonna make a parking lot in the back.
And that's not gonna be in the wetlands?
He knows he can't touch those. I've already talked to him about
Okay,
that.
okay. Thank you, ma'am.
And there's a good bit of area before it ever gets to where the wetlands is at.
Okay.
There's a big area back, it's got a basketball court and a couple other things back there now that he'll change that into a parking area.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else from the board before we?
No, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Anyone else in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else that would, or, excuse me, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in opposition to this application? Yes, sir. Please come forward, state your name.
My name is Jimmy Blakey.
Yes, sir.
I live at 135 Magnolia Drive. Just a few months ago, or last month, I believe it was, there were some folks up there wanting to get an event venue put on Exley Loop, which is pretty close, is closer to this property than what I am. I like to sit out on my front porch in my rocking chair late in the afternoon and listen to the quietness. That place is gonna be about a mile, maybe a little less than a mile as the crow flies from my house. I don't wanna sit out there and have to listen to boom, 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 or some loud music. That place on Exeter Loop, the commissioners turned it down. They first said that they were gonna have 100 and so parking areas, and then they started watering it down when they found out the commissioners were kinda having second thoughts. Well, she just stated they're gonna have 175 cars. Well, that's probably close to 200 more cars gonna be on Goshen Road. Goshen Road's already overloaded as it is. There's a lot of residential people living in that area, including myself. I don't wanna listen to loud music and carrying on late at night. Just a year or so ago, there was some people up there fussing about that venue over there on McCall Road because they run the music so loud at night and carry it on. These venues, people get to raising some hell, especially if there's liquor and all involved. So I would ask you people to turn that down, have mercy on the people living in the area. I mean, there's plenty of other areas in this county that can be purchased for event venues that are in areas that are already zoned for that kind of stuff. In fact, Rankin's building a big thing up there now for entertainment. So if y'all would please turn it down, I'd appreciate it. Thank you for
Thanks, sir.
listening.
Appreciate it.
And by the way, County Chairman Commissioner could take some points on you. I've heard every word you said. You need to get him to speak up.
Well, I appreciate that. Anyone else in the audience would like to speak in opposition? Yes, sir. Please come forward and state your name in the microphone.
Marvin Cook. I live at 590 Goshen Road. My property is adjacent to the property they want to rezone. And like he said, we've been there a long time. We've been there since 1988. And always been a quiet neighborhood. And even with the church there, the place is not soundproof for sure. Sometimes they get a little loud with the music. You could hear it outside that concrete building. I can't imagine a bunch of teens getting over there. And the area you're talking about parking, all that's a wooded area back there, and all of that'll be gone. I mean, they'll have to clear that whole area before they have any parking. It'll hold more than 15 or 20 cars. They might get 15 or 20 cars in there now, but that's it, without clearing a lot of land. And I think it'll just take away from the whole neighborhood. We'd just like to keep it residential if we could. And that's what I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you,
So you
ma'am.
live at 590?
Yes, sir, 590.
Thank you, sir.
That's on the eastern side of the property.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Appreciate it. Okay, anyone else that would like to speak in opposition, please come forward. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Kay Purdue, and I live at 626 Goshen Road. And I live by the railroad track and next to the piece of property they're talking about rezoning. I've been there on 626 Goshen Road for 57 years. We were there when I believe his name was Willie Wright, built that church. And there was nothing there before he built the church. And to my understanding, it's a building with 3 bathrooms and very little parking. It only has 1 driveway, which I'm sure that can be added, but it's just not big enough. What are they thinking about putting there? A daycare?
No, ma'am, an event venue.
A what?
An event venue.
What is that?
Well, Chelsea described it completely, but it's a venue that is open for like hosting an event, a party, or something like that is the way I would interpret that to be.
Oh, well, I'm against something like that because you never know if they'll be bringing in alcohol and stuff like that. And we came up here for that very reason, to get away from stuff like that. And it's always been a quiet neighborhood, and we hadn't had a whole lot of trouble up there. I know it's coming, but I'll have to vote against it. That's just my belief.
Yes, ma'am. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, anyone else that would like to speak in opposition? I think we still have a few minutes here. All right, at this time, I will give the applicant an opportunity to come back forward if there's anything that wanted to clarify, rebut. All right. Seeing that that's not the case, we will close the public hearing and open it up for discussion. I'll start it. It's unique. It's different than I think anything I've seen proposed to downzone to a more intense use adjacent to residential. So,
I'm curious if instead of going AR, if they went with a different zoning, like kind of what Jake asked, if it could go in a different zoning, would there be more protection or buffers that would have to be kept?
well, this is where we're in a bit of a,
Right.
not a pickle, but we don't get to see the conditional use application to see what they're proposing related to that, to be able to ask those.
And he's not here to answer.
Right. All right, I'll clarify that. All right, I'll clarify that for anybody in the audience just couldn't hear it, but planning to fence it and add some buffering, but to your point, like there's just other zoning districts that have more defined
It
standards
just
of that.
wouldn't be like enforceable really if you stick with AR.
Well, a condition, if it's a condition that they place, is absolutely enforceable. It would go with the property as a
Yes, sir.
condition in
So we
perpetuity.
can suggest
hard
a
word.
condition, potentially, we could
Well,
suggest it.
so this is where, again, it's kind of weird for us. All we're considering is the rezoning. Like, we don't have approval over the conditional use. Yeah, I know we've been discussing it, but really, we really look at it from a land use standpoint. From that standpoint, I see the point about another zoning. I won't say where I would land if it was proposed commercial there, but I think that would be challenging too. There is a benefit of at least there's a limited amount of these kind of things, and it is technically the rest of it's a little bit of a down zone, but it is unique. It sounds like that church has been there predating zoning.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Henderson is here now, if you have any questions.
Unfortunately, I think we've already closed the public hearing, so I can't really reopen it from that standpoint, but
I don't mind the intent of what it's gonna be. My concern, again, is traffic. Like Lizzie said, buffers. We've got residents on each side that's in opposition. There again, like Ryan said, it's a very unique situation. Noise, music, a lot of concerns I have on this, just being of the residential area and all the surrounding neighbors. With that being said, I'll make a motion to deny.
all right, we have a motion by Mr. Patrick for denial. Do we have a second?
I'll make a second.
We have a second by Ms. Smith. All in favor of denial, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to denial? All right, thank you. Again, that's just a recommendation to the, from the planning board to the county commissioners. That county commission meeting will be on December the 2nd. All right, moving on. We got to get these things to where they don't go to sleep so quick. I bet I've turned this thing back on 100 times. All right, sorry about that. Public hearing number 3, Morgan and Leighton Stone request to rezone plus or minus 1.06 acres from AR1 to AR2 to allow for permitted uses in AR2. This is located on Nixon Chapel Road, the 3rd District, map number 262, parcel 21A. Ms. Chelsea.
Yes, sir. So the applicant is proposing to rezone that plus or minus 1.06 acres to AR2. This lot will be served by private well and private septic. Here is a clearer view of that property. The parcel does fall within the agricultural area on the future land use map. This area allows for low-density residential development that is compatible with nearby agricultural uses. And then here is their proposed plat. As you can see, where that orange kind of marker is, that's where they would like to kind of cut that square out to make the AR2. Staff has reviewed the application, and it is complete with the following conditions: that development services must review and sign the plat, and then the plat must be recorded so the zoning can take effect.
So 1.06 acres out of how big of a piece of property?
Let's see.
Okay,
I should know that off the top of my head.
that's okay. I think it.
It
54?
looks like 54.441.
Okay, any questions of staff before we open it up?
So it does, this area, the future land is for low density.
Yes, sir. So it does fall within that agricultural. Yep. Yes, sir.
Any other questions before we hear from the applicant?
I don't think so, not for staff.
All right. If the applicant's present, please come forward and tell us a bit more about what you're proposing.
I'm Leighton Stone, that's my wife, Morgan Stone. We're just kind of, I guess, squaring off the property to a neighbor, because our property kind of runs up in our backyard. he's got a mobile home that's there now, so we just kind of extended his fence on the back to give him a little more room to, I guess, feel more comfortable. He's got some big trees of ours that are right in his backyard, so we just kind of being neighborly, I guess you could say.
So you're subdividing off an acre to deed to him?
No, sir. We'll be selling to him, but he already has a mobile home on the property, so it's pretty much right in his backyard.
He
that
just
he'll
wants
be
to extend his backyard.
right. Yeah, just extending his fence in his backyard is all he's after. Give him more room behind his house.
How big's his lot?
So he's part of that 54.441 acres.
No, man, we own the 54
We do.
acres.
Okay.
He owns the
The front portion.
262-31 lot with a mobile home on it now.
I can give you that answer. Hold on one second.
How many acres is the 31, Chelsea? The 26231? Can we see that?
Yes, I'm gonna bring that up for you. Hold on one second.
Do they need a zone for this?
Not in my opinion. They should be subdivided and give it to the other guy.
Should be subdividing and stuff, yeah.
It's like it's one.
Sorry, we're just trying to get some clarification.
Yes, sir. No, that's fine. Go ahead.
It's one.
I think this is the perfect example of why it's so important for them to be at the meeting.
So currently, right now, it is 1 acre.
Okay, but that is not the piece that's being requested to be rezoned, right? It's their 1 acre, okay. And you're proposing to, as soon as this happens, subdivide that off and you transfer that property over to him?
Yes, sir. That's the only reason we're doing this for him.
He's just really nice, and we bought this land to give down to our children, and he wants a little bit more to leave behind, and I don't know. We're just trying to be good neighbors and just, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if that makes sense.
It absolutely, 100%,
And-
100% makes
He's
sense.
been
I think-
asking, and we just, I don't know, just felt the need in our heart to do something nice for someone else, and
Yeah.
he really wants it, so
Yeah.
we're here.
So if they were to come in with a recombination plat of those 2 pieces of property that just provided a new subdivision that changed that line, do we have to rezone this? What? They can't. Granted, another other piece is still an acre and it doesn't technically meet it, but we're not creating a different, you wouldn't be creating an additional parcel if you were just,
Since they would be moving 262-31, that property line would be changing. We would then have to bring that 2 acres that his entire property will then be into conformance. So it would be that both that parcel and this new parcel would have to be AR2 because we're moving property lines.
Ours will stay AR2.
Because his parcel right now is 1 acre and it's non-conforming. So even by adding in this extra acre that they're willing to give to the gentleman, even adding that recombination, because it will change his 1 acre property line, we would have to bring that total 2 acres into conformance, which would be AR2. So eventually, if this gets approved, the person who owns 262-31, whenever he does the recombination plat, or when that does happen, that parcel will have to be zoned AR2 as well.
Can I ask a question?
there you go ahead.
Chelsea,
Yes, sir.
what if the individual they're trying to sell the land to came and asked for a zoning change from AR2, and if he bought the lot, would it automatically be AR2?
If we had the recombination plat,
I mean, the one, that 2, I can't see with, that far away. What's it?
262-31?
Is that AR1?
Yes, it is.
So if he came and requested AR2, and then that would take them out of it, and then if he expanded that other acre, he'd still be AR2, correct? And it'd be a moot issue, it'd be done, or no?
No, because this parcel that they're cutting the 1 acre out is AR1. So in order to combine both 262-31 and their 1 acre that they are requesting, they have to be the same zoning.
Because we're taking it from an AR1 property?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So could we have the line resurveyed? If it's over 2 acres, does that consider him AR2? Could we adjust that line?
So for AR1 to not have to rezone it all, it would have to be 5 acres.
Okay.
But I will, there's a new district that's AR3 that's 2.5, right? So his total parcel, if it was 1.5 additional, it's, I completely understand what you're trying to do, and it sounds like a very good thing. It's somehow tied up, and I gotta be honest, I didn't realize our process didn't allow you to move property lines in that forced zoning change if you weren't creating an additional parcel.
Yes, sir. It does force you to come into compliance.
Okay. All right, any other questions of the applicant?
Out of curiosity, would you be opposed to 1.5 acres versus an acre?
No, sir. Just whatever would work for him. As so far, like,
We've been working on this for so long for him.
No.
So if you done 1.5 acres with his acre, then that would put the whole thing in AR3, which I believe would be more favorable.
Yeah, I just don't think it'd be the process tonight because we were actually considering this piece of property, so they'd actually technically rezoned to 2.5 acres, which would
And
be 3.5.
technically, he would be the one that needs to come through for his parcel.
Yeah, it would have to be rezoned AR2 currently, then he had to come back AR3 when
Well-
bringing them into conformance, so
Or table it and
the guy that he sold to.
Maybe,
Well,
put it all in one.
am I?
It can't be cut
stating
out
that
unless he
correctly?
rezones the 1 acre to AR2.
Technically, what would have to happen
Right.
is they'd have to.
Whether
get
it's
it-
1.5 acres or an
let's-
acre.
An acre and a half, and then they would have to come back through with the other guy's parcel and y'all's new survey or whatever.
With the recombination plat, yep, and then
And
go
then go to
through the
AR3.
zoning process for AR3.
so just to make his 2.5 total.
Right, you're rezoning a portion of yours, but clearly showing that it's getting recombined with his, so it's, look, there's just a slippery slope of AR2, and we don't want to start creating that all over the place. And to me, it seems like that is the process, is that, like, get his address at the same time, show where that line is actually, your property line is going to get deleted, and there's going to be a new property line that creates his, and then ask for that AR3, which would be 2.5 acre. I know it's frustrating probably to have made this application, but that seems to be the route that would best go to make that his piece of property what you're trying to do.
Okay. All right. All right.
That, y'all somewhat agree with that? So here's the deal, like, you've obviously got the right to ask us to make a recommendation, and you can still go to the Board of Commissioners, and they can absolutely, go against what our recommendation would be.
Yes, sir.
Or you can, at any time choose to withdraw it and reapply it the other way, right? But technically, you've got an application in for AR2 right now on
Yes,
your
sir.
property.
All right.
Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this application? All right, seeing that there's none, is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak in opposition to this application? Okay. With that, we'll close the public hearing and open it up to discussion amongst the board.
Chelsea,
Yes, sir.
if it was tabled, could they just come back on the same permit with 1.5 acres, or would they have to reapply from the very beginning?
That's a good question. I think I think I'm going to defer to the clerk.
And then I have a question too after that.
If it was tabled, could they come back with the adjusted application at 1.5 acres without having to restart the whole process?
Just changing the acreage.
Just changing the acreage.
Yeah, I think they could change the acreage. But the zoning is the issue, right?
The zoning is, I mean, no matter what, it's going to be AR2 if it gets rezoned. That's on the back end. So my question is that whenever the next property has to come into conformance, which is not in this meeting, but he would be able to go to AR3
Yes.
with 2.5 acres if it was changed to 1.5 acres for the sale.
Yes, we could change the acreage and re-advertise.
But they wouldn't have to go through the whole process. Just this.
Yes.
Well, but let's remember, there's another acre that's not even included in the current application that's needed to make it AR3 eligible, and that's not included in any application. So yeah. Seems that other piece needs to be included for consider it in totality of what's being proposed.
Right, well, if he wants to join his property, he has to have it rezoned and then brought into conformance, which it would be AR3 at 2.5 acres.
I think if you're rezoning to AR2 now, you might as well just do it with the acre. If, AR2 is AR2, either way, I think that was defeating purpose. But if the guy buying it could come in and say, hey, I'm buying this from the Stones, and I'm gonna change it from 1 acre or 2 acres to now 2.5 acres, then it would be one zoning straight through. It'd be a whole new process, but it'd move it to AR3.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
So to Mr. Patrick's point, if the applicant does withdraw tonight, the person who owns the 262-31, he can come in and apply for the entire 2.5, if that's what they're willing to give him, that 1.5 acres. He would just have to get their permission. There's a form that we have them fill out that would allow him to rezone that 1.5 acres of their property and his property together to make a total of, for the AR3. So if I may suggest, I think that is probably the right way to go.
Right, but that's their choice if they
It
want
is,
to withdraw.
absolutely.
Do you understand what that
Yes,
is?
I guess that'd be the best route to go. We'll just end up selling him an acre and a piece to make 2.5. So sell him an acre and a half.
Right,
So we'll just
correct.
have to resurvey and we'll let him handle everything.
I'm just offering up, we're just a recommending board. If you want to argue it and see if you can get through the Board of Commissioners, I don't want to cause you to delay. So it's up to you, but you have to make the choice of whether or not you want to withdraw it. And if you do, you got to come up and let us know. Otherwise, we're going to make a vote on it.
Just need to state my name and say we want to withdraw. Leighton Stone, like I said, my wife's Morgan Stone, and we'll withdraw.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, sorry, that was again, another complicated one that seemed not so complicated. Just read through the package. Okay, moving on. Public hearing number 4, Carter Justice as agent for Jason Reed, request to rezone plus or minus .90 acres from B1 to B3 to allow for permitted uses in B3. This is located at 8240 Georgia Highway 21 North, 3rd District, map number 229, parcel 15A. Ms. Chelsea.
Yes, sir. So, again, the applicant is proposing to rezone the plus or minus .90 acres to B3, which is the major commercial district. The application says to sell trucks, trailers, and golf carts from the location. These lots will be served by private well and private septic. The parcel does fall within the agricultural area on the future land use map. Again, this area allows for low-density residential development that is compatible with nearby agricultural uses. I will say that currently on this parcel, the tax assessor's website does have an accessory structure shown, and the point of ingress and egress is Clio Kildare Road. Staff has reviewed the application, and it is complete, again, with the following conditions. A site plan must be approved by the Effingham County Board of Commissioners. Any encroachment onto Clio Kildare Road must be reviewed and approved by the county engineer. And the applicant must obtain and keep in good standing an Effingham County tax certificate, which is the business license.
All right, thank you, ma'am. How deep is this piece of property from highway to rear property line?
And I knew you were going to ask me that question, and I was not prepared. Let me pull that up for you.
Maybe the applicant may be able to answer that too. Like, you don't have to answer that. I'll ask them.
Okay.
Any other questions for Chelsea?
Is this a spot zoning issue or no? Because it's already B1.
Right, it's currently B1, so he is asking for a more intensive commercial use, but it is a commercial use already, so.
Okay.
Any other questions, staff? All right, we'll open it up to the applicant. If the applicant's here, please come forward, state your name, and tell us a bit about what you're proposing.
I'm Carter Justice, and really the whole point of this is just to have an office for a dealership license. It's not really to sell much out of the location. I'm going to leave it the exact same with the old gas pumps right in front of it. There's just not going to be no buy here, pay here crap. Like, it's just going to look the same. But in order to get a dealer's license, you have to have a physical office space with an address and everything. So, and it has to be zoned in that B3. Whatever it is, so, yeah. I have a lot in Pooler for storage of cars, won't really be there.
How deep is the property?
I'm not sure. I don't own the property. Mr. Jason Reed owns it. I know that, I believe it's about 2.5 acres in total.
Mr. Chairman, at its widest point, which is closest to Clio Kildare Road, it's about 86 feet.
As you can imagine, there's probably not much business out there for actually having a dealership out there, so.
Yeah, it's just that when you rezone, you're not just rezoning to what you're proposing. Right? There's a bunch of other uses that are allowed inside a B3 district as well that we have to be considerate of. And
I know the owner mentioned putting one of those ice machine things that you stop in at and you buy bagged ice there for people that take that road to the river. And maybe putting a little paved or gravel area right in front of that, but kind of on that right side.
So the dealer license requires specific B3 zoning?
Yes, sir. To get the dealership license, it has to have, you have to have an office, you have to have a desk, a computer, stuff like that, and a bathroom in your office. There's a few other requirements, but it has to be a certain amount of square footage, all of which are met by this building at this place. And I don't know if y'all have seen the building, but it has these old gas pumps out in front of it, so I think it's kind of cool. Be cool to leave as an office.
Yeah, I just buy gas there.
any other questions of the applicant?
Is the owner of the property that's wanting to get the business license and everything, or is it you?
It's me.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But he's cool about all this. He knows what's going on. So.
I don't know if it would matter or if it will come up, but if we put a condition on it that it can only be for this specific use, would that be something you'd be okay with? Or?
Yes, sir. Fine with me.
All right, so I don't know if it's gonna come up, but that would avoid, having heavy stuff there.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think if we consider that, like, specifically, that it's just for the office. Like, it's not, we don't expect to see trailer for sale. We don't expect, it's just for the office use to conform with that. I mean, it's again, a very unique proposal tonight. We're 3 for 3 so far. Any other questions of the applicant?
No, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. There may be a few more here in a bit. Anyone else in the audience would like to speak in favor of this application, please come forward. Seeing that there are none, now I'll open it up to anyone in the audience who would like to speak in opposition to this application. Please come forward. All right. All right, with that, we'll close the public hearing and open it up for discussion amongst the board.
The only thing I'd be interested in is just limited to what he's
I think a conditional
requesting.
use would be the way to go with it.
Put a condition on the zoning, I would
Yes.
say. Yeah,
Because it is such a small, narrow lot. It's a long,
Yeah, there's-
narrow lot.
Not much else that could really be done there.
yeah, I mean, it's, again, it's unique. The only way I would be supportive of it if it had a very strong condition related to it. Because it opens it up to way too many other things that everything that's allowed in B3. Now granted, if it's only 90 feet deep and it's surrounded by agricultural zoning, there's no justification for variances or anything related to any buffer requirements that would be there. So it's going to be a bit self-controlled related to that. But I'm not huge on rezoning just to solve one use when there's other offices that can be used elsewhere. But that's just where I kind of land on it.
Where are the buffer? What's the buffer on this? On the beach?
Between commercial and agricultural residential is 30 feet.
Just 30 feet?
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? All right, seeing that there is no additional discussion, I'll open it up for a motion.
This is a strange one, like everything else that we've had, but I'll make a motion to approve with conditional uses that it can only be used as an office space and eye sales, as a self-serve eye sales, and that's it. No other commercial uses.
All right, we have a motion with conditions by Mr. Boynton. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Kessler. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm opposed. All right, motion passes, goes on to the Board of Commissioners. Is he still here? Oh, sorry, looking right over you. Only guy sitting over there. All right, so December 2nd, 6 o'clock, back in the same room for that final decision there. All right, moving on to public hearing number 5. Mr. Neil McKenzie, as agent for BACA Properties LLC, requests to rezone plus or minus 21.73 acres from AR1 to B3 and HI to allow for the permitted uses in B3 and HI. The property is located at 2388 US Highway 80. This is the first district. It is map number 354, parcels 28 and 29. Ms. Kelsey.
Yes, sir. So the applicant again is proposing to rezone the plus or minus 21.73 acres to B3, which is major commercial district, and HI, which is our heavy industrial, to allow for a ready mix concrete batch in the heavy industrial zoning and a retail office space along Highway 80 in the major commercial portion of this. These lots will be served by Effingham County Water and Sewer. Staff did meet with the applicant and discussed access, buffer requirements, platting requirements, and the zoning requirements. The parcel, there's a larger view for you. The parcel does fall within the transitional area on the future land use map. This area allows for mixed use and adaptive use opportunities designed to allow for the transition between uses. Often these areas exhibit characteristics of neighboring zones and may undergo changes in land use, density, or character over time. It's a blend of uses to bridge the gap. And again, that is our Effingham County 2020-2040 Joint Comprehensive Plan. I will say, we've seen this property a couple times. The last time it came before us, it was just a concrete plant. There was no proposal of the commercial in the front, so that is the major difference that we're seeing here tonight. So staff has reviewed the application and it is complete with the following conditions. A site plan must be approved by the Board of Commissioners, and Development Services must review and sign the plat. Then the plat must be recorded for the zoning to take effect. I apologize, there's 2 more conditions. Any encroachments onto U.S. Highway must be permitted through GDOT, which is Georgia Department of Transportation, and the applicant must obtain and keep in good standing an Effingham County Occupational Tax Certificate, again, the business license.
Before we move on to the applicant, so what's on the screen now that's highlighted, the landscape berm area?
Yes, sir, in the red,
Yeah,
within that red.
Is that required between the heavy industrial and the commercial, or is that something they're offering that we need to consider as an additional condition?
That is a great question. That is something that has been offered. It is not required. The buffer between industrial and commercial is 30 feet, I believe. And the applicant has offered to do the berm, to create that separation.
All right, any other questions of staff before we open it up? All right, seeing none, welcome, Mr. McKenzie. Please do still state your name.
Neil McKenzie, here tonight on behalf of Mr. Baca with Baca Ready Mix. Thank you, Chelsea, for that introduction. For those of you who don't know Mr. Baca, he owns Baca Concrete. They supply a lot of the concrete in Effingham County and Chatham. They're responsible for a lot of the concrete that goes into homes and foundations and driveways. Mr. Baca owns both of the parcels that would be recombined to create this project. And then his plan is to relocate his business operation to this location. This project would include a split zoning. So up front, Chelsea mentioned that we'd have B3, and then in the back we'd have I1 with the ready mix use, because that is specific to what Mr. Baca does, and that's the use that he intends to do on the back of the property. The project incorporates approximately 22 acres. It is 2 parcels. We would have to recombine and then subdivide to create the split classification. We have reviewed the comprehensive plan, and as was pointed out, this project is consistent and aligns with the county's expectations. As far as the adjacent properties, the Falkville chip mill is next door to the east. That's got 2 zonings. It's I1 and B2. Yancey Brothers is the parcel to the east, and then there's AR1 and AR2 that kind of wrap around the back of the property. And then that's where the 150-foot buffering would be to the ready mix plant. So as far as the business operation goes, up front, Mr. Baca intends to run his business from there. So he will have his main office there, and then to the west of, or to the east of that, there's some other retail opportunities that would be there. If you don't mind, could you go to the renderings, Chelsea? So just to kind of give the audience and the board an idea of what you're looking at here. So bottom right, that would be the home office of Mr. Baca's operation. Bottom left would be the retail space looking from Highway 80. And then the top again is looking from Highway 80 back towards the site. And that kind of gives a feel for what he intends to build here. A very nice product that I think the county can be proud of. In his main office, he currently employs 10 full-time employees. And in the concrete plant, he's got 3 full-time employees. And then as far as the trucks go that come in and out of the concrete plant, he's got 11 batch trucks, and he's got 2 pump trucks. So that's the limit of what he would batch every day. Each truck would be expected to run 3 loads of concrete per day. Chelsea mentioned the buffering, so we do have an internal buffer, which I'll describe in a minute, but the perimeter buffers, we're going to offer 50-foot up front along Highway 80, and then the perimeters would be in accordance with the county minimums. And you'll notice that the property's cleared, you know, it's wide open now, so anywhere that the buffering isn't currently wooded, we would supplement with plantings to bring it up to county standards. The internal buffer and berm that we talked about, this is unique, so I think there's one more slide that's got a picture of what the berm would look like, and it's a combination berm. It may not have made it because it was in another email, but I'll describe it. So what he plans to do is, right now on the plan, there's about 65 feet between those 2 red lines. And in order to get a berm of height that would block the vision from Highway 80, we would do a combination of retaining walls and then have an earthen berm on top of that. And then in addition to that, offer plantings on top of that berm. So total height of the berm, with 65 feet and having the 8-foot rounded top, we're looking at 15 to 16 feet in height, plus the plantings that would be on top of that. So we're offering a pretty good screening from Highway 80 to the concrete batch operation. For traffic, this is on Highway 80, 55-mile-an-hour road, 2-lane. The GDOT AADT count for 2024 is 10,600 trips per day. This site, based on the concrete operation and the trucks that he runs at full operation, would equate to about 80 trips per day for trucks. His main office, we expect that to be 50 trips per day, but all of that would be finalized once we get done with the traffic study. One item of note here too is that we do anticipate that a right turn into the site would be needed. And of course, if the left turn lane is warranted, then that would be installed as well. This site is and will be on individual well and septic, so I don't think there's any county utilities out here. Stormwater management, I know, is always a concern for sites like this. And, traditionally for the commercial, we would handle it through storm pipes, open channels and detention ponds. And then in the back with the concrete plant, we will have a large pond. Any concrete processed water would be self-contained and managed on site. And then we do anticipate a robust dust control and erosion control plan that'll be documented in the on-site stormwater pollution prevention plan that's required by law. And then as far as the noise goes, I mean, we do understand the concerns of the operation of the concrete plant. We do feel that the berm between the 2 sites will help mitigate a lot of that noise, because it is the bottom of the wall will be concrete, and then plantings on top with the berm. And just a few notes about the intensity of the permitting for a site like this. If we get approved tonight, it's only the first step. We have a lot of permits that need to be put in place to make a site like this possible. The state of Georgia has an operating permit for the plant, air quality, and an industrial NPDES permit that must be applied for and approved by the state. GDOT would need to approve our entrance, and then Effingham County would need to approve the land disturbance permit for a project like this. And then any wetlands on the back of the site would need to be approved by the Corps of Engineers. So with that, I've got Mr. Baca here tonight, and we're glad to answer any questions that you have.
I have a question since I don't know hardly anything about concrete plants. You said pump truck, and what was the other truck?
Just
Two pumps and two stack trucks, or?
the ready-mix trucks that had the drum on them. He's got 11 of those.
Okay.
Yep,
And that's the ones that are already parked there?
that's right. Yep.
All right,
5 minutes.
I've got
5 minutes.
5 minutes left. Okay, well, I've got several questions. Y'all have additional ones you'd like to ask, and I'll ask.
Go ahead.
All right. So, I wish we could have seen the picture of this berm, because it
Yeah,
sounds pretty
yeah.
unique.
Yes, it is. I've got a picture of it here.
He can describe it, I think I can.
Yeah, so if I can approach, I've only got one of them, but
We'll pass it around.
It's a combination of, on the bottom, you'll see concrete retaining walls, and then backfilled behind it with earth. And then on top of that, we'll have trees and plantings. And what we think we can do, so now on the plan, we've got about 65 feet between the two sites with the 8 to 10 foot retaining wall. We can probably get the height of it to about 16 feet. And then on top of that 16 feet, you'll have the plantings on top of that.
Yeah, that'll be pretty important to document.
Sure.
Because without the wall, which would be very expensive, that berm becomes 8 feet tall. All right, so additional question. I see the site plan. I understand it's probably just very conceptual. You only have one access point for that amount of commercial and concrete plant?
As of right now, yes. We know that George Road aligns with one of the parcels, on the side. We wanted to align our access point as far away from that as possible to reduce any conflicts. And there's also a driveway directly across from the middle of the site. So we're going to try our best to get this done with one access point because of all the other access points across the street.
And the pollution prevention plan, I admit I'm not familiar with what that is, but I'm sure there'll be those in the audience that would benefit from knowing a bit more about that. Can you elaborate on that, or can Mr. Baca?
Sure. Yeah. So when you get your industrial NPDES permit, what's required as part of that is called a SWIP, and it's a stormwater pollution prevention plan that's actually kept on site. It's approved by the state, and in that plan, it includes all the testing and all the testing that needs to be done on site to document the water quality, the air quality, and then all the maintenance that needs to happen to keep the site in compliance with the permit. And that's kept on site at all times. And then there's staff on site that's required to basically implement the plan. So it's a constant thing that they have to report back to the state every year that they meet the minimum, requirements of the permit. And that basically, that SWIP is the guideline for that process.
So it's a state enforced
It is.
plan?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and the last question or comment I guess I had is, the renderings were nice, but I mean, we're not saying that's what's happening, right, in the commercial area. The middle building, what was the idea on it?
Construction supply.
Construction supply, and the upper one on the corner is the office, and then there's a bit of retail down there.
That's right.
And that's why I was asking about additional access point. Retail without access is going to be challenging.
Yep.
So, yeah, again, like I talked about with the last one with the B3 zoning, and not that I think B3 is inappropriate. I know I'll be keeping in mind that those aren't the only uses that can go on the property, and it doesn't necessarily end up going to have to look like those renderings do look like. Ms. Chelsea, there's not an overlay like there is on 21 on Highway 80, is there, related to commercial?
There sure is.
There
So
is,
the future
okay.
land use map does have Highway 80 within the commercial corridor overlay.
So those standards that have recently
They-
been adopted
yes,
will
sir.
apply to that site? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, good deal. That makes you feel better about that.
Neil, you may have said, but what's the hours of operation on the concrete plant?
So the, it will be Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 5. And then they will have Saturday operations if needed. And then they'll be 6 to 12 noon. That's what he anticipates.
Thank you.
No Sunday operations.
Any other questions?
Who enforces the hours of operations? How does that work?
It's a good question. So, so Mr. Baca, he would only open on Saturday, if he needed to. Typically, his business now, those are the hours that he does, right? I don't know if you have any other input to that.
Thank you, everybody, for being here today. My name is Miguel. I'm the
Sir,
owner of
please,
this business.
sir, please come to the podium
Sorry
and
about that.
address us. Don't talk to the audience, please.
The hours of operations are based because we work in the subdivisions around the county, and we cannot work.
Before you go, state your name for us, please.
Miguel Baca.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. The hours of operations are based because we work in the subdivisions, and most of those, we can only work from 7 a.m. to about 6 or 7 p.m. And we start loading concrete at 6 a.m. in the morning, so we can be at the subdivision at 7 or 7:30. Those are based on that. That's why. And we only work Monday through Friday mainly, and sometimes on Saturday if we have to. Or sometimes we have a rainy day during the week, we have to make up to put some more concrete on Saturday. And we don't ever work on Sundays.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. I think it would behoove the board to sense the hours of operations, even though that's what they're currently doing, to probably set that as a condition. That way they are, should the Board of Commissioners also approve, they are held to that. That way, if there are any complaints of working outside of those hours, code enforcement can act on that.
Okay, thank you. So the answer of Mr. Kessler's question, code enforcement would enforce
Yes,
it from a
sir.
county standpoint. Other questions of the applicant? Before we open it up for other discussion? All right, thank you, sir. Don't go anywhere. I'm sure there'll be other questions. All right, anybody else in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this application? Seeing there are none, I will, open. Oh, yes, sir, come forward.
Miguel Baca. I am sorry about last thing. This is my first time being here between you
fine.
guys.
Don't have to apologize.
So I came here before you because I want to work very much. I have my operation right now running off Jimmy DeLoach when I'm renting a piece of property right now, and we want to come over here to this county, to this beautiful property, because we want to make. I want to make it better. My family lives here. My kids goes to school in Marlow, and every one of us is here to stay. I want to make the county better, and I want to bring these buildings because I want to do this for everybody, for the county, for myself, for my family. And I want to bring more employment, more businesses, like, I don't know, like a nail salon or restaurants in there. And so we don't have to go all the way to Puller or Savannah. So I want to have, I want you please to have the consideration of that. And I want to make, I don't know if you want to make a condition, because I know in commercial you can file a lot of stuff. But I don't know if you want to make like a condition where what I'm presenting to you is what I'm doing. I don't try to cut any corners of anything. I want to make it right for the neighbors. I want to make it right for everybody. Like we want to, from the dust collection system that we're going to put in there to paving the whole road, we don't have to have any problems, any mud on the street, any dirt, nothing at all. You know, I want to make it right for everybody, and if it's something that I can do to make it better, I will do it. You know, it's very much is what I do. It's my life in it. You know, it's what I do for a living. It's what I do for a lot of people. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, anyone else that would like to speak in favor? All right, seeing that there are none from when the buzzer went off, I think I had about 5 more minutes that were just added. So that was 20 minutes total, so we will give 20 minutes to the opposition if we need the full 20 minutes, and if we see we need more, we'll consider that as well. So with that, I will open it up. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to speak in opposition to this application, please come forward, state your name clearly in the microphone, and tell us your concerns.
My name is Dennis Hales, and my wife and I, we live on George Road and been there since, I think, '85. And some of the concerns I have is I think it was last year that he tried to open a concrete plant up there, was going to build a big wall in the front. And the commissioners, one of them in particular, he's the second man over, I'm not sure who he is. Forrest is our commissioner, but he worked at a concrete plant, and they were very concerned about them pulling them fully loaded concrete trucks out on Highway 80 with people running 60 miles an hour. So this is Google, and some Googles are good, some's bad, I understand that, but I Googled something this morning that a fully loaded concrete truck versus a car running 60 miles an hour, and it came back at 65, which is about what a lot of them run anyhow, but it takes 300 feet for a truck to stop, and that's what I wanted to know, is a fully loaded truck. For a car, and it was 525 feet for a truck to stop. They had a bad accident with a cement truck, and it wasn't them, up there at 17 and 80. And I don't think that guy even ever hit his brakes, but it killed a teacher that was teaching here. But it does take a lot. He was concerned too about accelerating it. And if you don't have a lane, to egress and get the speed up on that road, that's hard to get it up. And not just pulling it out like they had drawn last time. But that was one of my concerns there. The hours where they're saying 6 to 5. At one time, and this was hearsay from a kinfolk of ours that lives in Monterey Park, they were trying to do access through IP, International Paper. International Paper's gone now. There were a lot of trees cleared out of there. I don't know if they cleared them, planning on doing that or whatever, but the noise that we never had before, we had big time. I'd call Forrest. I even sent him videoed where you could hear the noise on it, and they said their hours of operation were daylight. I did some of that at 2 o'clock in the morning out there and done it. And they would send code enforcement out there and talk to them, and they said only operate at day. But then they turned around and wouldn't do nothing for about 2 weeks because they were going to do a sting operation and come out there at night and try to catch them. And then they come right back again. They even operated on Sunday morning. I got up to go to church, and you could just hear it outside. And I hear it inside on that plant, but it's gone. So we never had a problem because of the buffer that was there. And I know he probably can't access that way now, and if that was his plan, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize to him, but I think that it was his plan to do it one time. Another serious operation that I'm worrying about, I know he talks about maintaining all this stuff, but silica is very, very dangerous. Y'all do some research on it. It's something that gets in your lungs, a fine particle, and it doesn't come out. I've just recently retired. I got another gentleman back there with me that worked with me. Before they even cutting blocks, they used to cut them dry, and we'd breathe that stuff. Then they cut them wet, but that stuff travels a long ways. I Googled that this morning. It travels for miles in the air, and we're right across the street. Our road is right straight across from it. And I know he's talking about a nice berm. He was talking about a nice berm before, and he'll probably build it. I mean, I believe the man's gonna do what he says on that part, but you can't stop that silica. And be that close to houses, I think it's a bad situation. It was pretty what he was talking about building in there, and I think that would look good if he builds it. But I don't know. We've had other things happen on our road. This is regular for us to come up here for years, and y'all probably recognize me, probably recognize, all of us. But we fought and fought for a warehouse back there behind it. They got everything we wanted and still didn't like it, but they was gonna do a warehouse. But then big warehouses is no good anymore, so they wanted to do 3 little ones. Everything that we fought for went out when he rezoned. And I don't know what B3 covers, but I don't want him to say he's gonna do something and then come back later and do something different. But instead of having a 300-foot before they even had a parking lot, we ended up with about 60 foot if they'd have done the 3. So, and we had no say-so, Trucks were gonna be on the other side of the warehouse. That's went out the window now too. They withdraw from doing it, but it's easy to get up here and say you're gonna do this and say you're gonna do that. And but the biggest concern to me is the safety of the vehicles. Coming in, there should be a turn-in lane and a turn-out lane to where you can get your speed up, and that involves the state to put that in there. In most places you see when you get in Bryan County, they got some good turn-ins for the big trucks to get out of the way. Traffic, we get out on the road, I told my wife the other day, I said, count how many trucks are coming at us right now without a car, a tractor-trailer truck. And there was 8 of them. I mean, 8 in a row, and they're right there bumper to bumper, and they're gonna be coming by him doing 60 miles an hour, and he's be pulling out there on it. I just think it's not a place for a concrete plant. That's all I got. Thank y'all for listening.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Anyone else in opposition, please come forward.
My name is Kathy Sheffield. I'm directly this side of him, on the same side of the road. I've been there 43 years. Silica, I am going to touch on that one thing you asked us not to, but I did a little investigation. I went down to the Platinum, which is asphalt and concrete, visited that concrete plant. It's on Old River Road. The bushes and the trees are full of the dust. So you cannot capture it all. And now the old Eden junkyard on 80 towards, of course, it's been used as a lay yard where they were building Hyundai. Well, it appears that there's a concrete plant going in there. It's all being redone. All kinds of concrete has been brought. They've got all their trucks, their hoppers and what have you. It probably doesn't have to come before y'all because that is commercial property. And I am not a foolish woman. I realize Highway 80 is a U.S. truck route. It is all, at some point, going to be commercial. But while you have people living, there's 3 houses. I'm the first, a second, and a third. And you have everybody on George Road. We don't need another concrete plant. And I'm telling you, Highway 80 is one of the most dangerous roads in this county. I just don't see a concrete plant next door to me because there's no way he can control, even with all these protections, you cannot control silica in the air. And Dennis is right. Once it's in your lungs, it's there forever. There is no way to get it out. So, and 80's not getting 4-laned anytime soon. And I don't believe any of you would like to live next door to a concrete plant either. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, ma'am.
Where's George Street? It's in this subdivision right in front.
See all the residential lot. Thank you.
How are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Latita Schumann, and I live in the neighborhood located directly across from this plat, George Road. We notice there's multiple people that speak out against. We residents were there first. We are opposing this, and there's one person that wants this. And I think people keep forgetting that. But anyway, I also did a quick Google search, and it's amazing what Google will give you. There's multiple researches, and there's reports that support that our opposition that turning this residential property that was a farm, a hay farm, and a home across from it, into B3 and heavy industrial. B3, they've tried multiple times, as you've said, to get this heavy industrial. But they've been coached to the point that it's like, you need that buffer, that B3 buffer. So you have your transition zone. So finally, they've got the right plan to get the checkbox, which is really sad. But if you do more research on your concrete operation and concrete plants, just it simply says minimum distance that it travels is 0.3 miles, and that's essentially the length of George Road. So we will all be affected, the entire residents. There's multiple health risks, air contamination, environmental contamination, noise pollution, traffic nightmares. The list continues. There's warnings galore. It's all negative. We actually have a proven bad example of industrial cement plant right here in Effingham County. Ebenezer, the one in Ebenezer, it was found to be doing a class 1 pollution of some sort, and it was fined by the EPD. So does Effingham want another one of those? We're already struggling as it is. We keep bringing industry, and I get it. But we're the ones paying the taxes. The taxpayers are getting a little, we're getting a little full, guys. A little less industry is what we're asking for. We just keep saying no, and the industry keeps invading and overtaking us. And we, the homeowners, we keep getting the bill. The proof is in our taxes. Prove me wrong.
Thank you, ma'am. We have about 9 minutes left for opposition. If others would like to come forward, please feel free to. All right, seeing that there's no additional speakers for the opposition, we do offer the applicant a time for rebuttal, and any additional questions that the board may have of the applicant certainly can do so.
The only thing I'll say is we do understand the dust control and how important it is. And that's why I was highlighting, what the prevention plan is, and it'll have to be ironclad with EPD. We do understand the health risks, but we do anticipate that Mr. Baca will adhere to, everything that he has to. Oftentimes, they have to spray these piles, multiple times a day to keep the dust down. And that's among other things that they'll have to do to keep the dust down,
So maybe I read it somewhere or heard it somewhere else. Was there a mention of a scrubber or something that's doing something?
No, it's not
No.
covered.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna pave the whole area inside, we're gonna be paved. Yeah, the whole area inside the plant is gonna be paved, so really no dust. It's gonna be really like a road, like a Walmart parking lot, like or Home Depot parking lot, where you come in clean, you leave clean. We're gonna have a very good system to clean everything there. Between the water and some sweepers that we're gonna have in there, we're gonna have everything inside. And the dust collector that we're gonna have in place is a brand new dust collector. It's very modern. It's gonna be attached to the concrete plant itself. So that way, whenever we're batching, all the dust, they say it's 92% of the dust is required, and the silica is in it. So maybe a little bit of silica because of the wind or something like that is gonna be moving away, but I don't think it's gonna go far away at all.
So what you just mentioned, I think I said scrubber, and it was a filter or a dust collector. So can you, I've known nothing about that, right? But I've heard each person that came up, that seemed to be the biggest concern. Is there a way to elaborate on what that is? Is that new technology that maybe some other plants don't have, that's this dust collection system?
It's not a new technology. It is a very expensive technology. That's why they don't have it. And they don't want to spend the money because they are not required to. We want to go the extra mile to make it right for the neighbors, and we want to put it in there. And we can provide all the data for that. I'll be glad to send it to them. That way they can understand how it works and what it does. So all of it, whenever you weighting and the scale, all of the cement and the fly ash, and the stone and the sand and everything that goes in the concrete truck, the movement creates a little bit of dust. So all of this, what this dust collector does is vacuum. It's like a vacuum thing, sucks everything in. doesn't let, I mean, it keeps it in, doesn't let it go away to anywhere to the environment. So it keeps it in place. And then between that and then a little water that is gonna be very much sprinkling around it, so it's gonna keep it down, the whole thing. And like he said, we're gonna be regulated by the state. So the state is gonna have to be there making some tests and making sure that we're doing the right thing. So it's not something that I'm just telling you that we are going to do. So, but the state is gonna have to, they inspect the concrete plants like that, and then they're gonna have to regulate everything. And if we're doing something wrong, they are gonna put a stop of operations or something. It's not like something that we just gonna be doing something wrong forever.
So, but I hear you right, the dust collection system is not required by the state, and it's an additional thing we're adding?
It's something we're adding, yeah, it's not required by the state.
So the plan you're referencing wouldn't be that. We would have to recommend that or condition that to make sure that piece that seems to be very important is in place.
It is very important because a lot of the people that works in the site is my family. It's my brother, some of my wife goes in there to help me clean sometimes. My son, he goes over there and plays on the sand and plays, loads of, with the machine, he's playing with it. So I'm trying to teach him how to work. I don't want them to be sick. I don't want myself to be sick, because I'm there all the time. So it's in my best interest to keep it down, to make it good for myself and for everybody else. Yeah. Because we are risking our lives. Like he say, on the silica, once it goes in you, it doesn't come out. So I'm there the whole time. So I don't wanna be sick. Yeah. I don't want my family to be sick or anybody or the workers to be sick. The people in the office, the people who comes in and out, I don't want them to be sick. I want them to be okay. And that is something that we're providing to make it good for everybody.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, I think do you have any questions for the
I
applicant?
did. Would y'all be opposed to, so Ryan kind of hit on this, but the site plan only has the one access point, and like with the traffic issues on Highway 80 and the concerns of the trucks coming in and out, would y'all be opposed to having two entrances? So there's a separate entrance for the stuff up front for the business, and then a separate one for the concrete, people going to the concrete plant? Is that an option potentially? And add maybe an ingress and egress potentially?
Yes, ma'am, that's an option. Sure.
I think
Yep.
that might be, I know if I was pulling into, like, he's talking about a nail salon, I don't want to be like, avoiding a concrete truck.
Yeah, and so that's subject to GDOT, but it's absolutely an option.
Could we put the condition?
Well, here, well,
I suggest it.
let's hear if there's any other questions for the applicant, and we're going to close the public hearing and then we'll discuss it. Nothing? Okay. All right, we're going to consider the public hearing closed. Now we're going to open it up for discussion. Yeah, that was a great question. Can we put it as a condition? I think I've listed 10, 12 conditions
I've written down so many.
that aren't listed in the current staff report. I would really like for y'all to come back with listed out conditions of what you can agree to, especially if it's above and beyond, so we know exactly what we're approving conditionally, right? Because right now, unless there's something else, the only conditions are a site plan approved by the Board of Commissioners, Development Services approving a signed plat, encroachments to US Highway 80 or GDOT, which is required anyway, and the applicant keeping a good standing with the Effingham County Tax Certificate Business License. I mean, all of those are must-dos in the first place, right? So I don't feel it's fair to this board to try to list out all the conditions of things that were just offered to do. I mean, we could obviously vote one way or the other, but I would lean that I would want those very specific things that are being willing to be offered up that are above and beyond, right? Like that dust collection system. I don't know that that's ever going to appease the neighbors, but if it's additional that others don't have, without us being very specific that that's absolutely required, and just because you changed your mind or, oh, we didn't know the price, just like the berm, oh, we didn't know how much the wall was gonna cost, I would feel much better voting on something if I had every condition that you were willing to limit and condition this rezoning to list it out some way.
The dust collector is on site right now, so it's already there, ready to be put on.
I understand, but it could leave the site tomorrow if they don't, if there wasn't a condition put on it. And we have to, like, I probably shouldn't address you directly. We also have to think about the future, right? Like, the property can change hands, right? So we have to think about it'll be zoned forever, this, unless somebody changes the zoning again. So, again, I said a lot there, but I think y'all know kind of where I stand on it.
Can I ask a question?
You can. The public hearing's closed, but we'll take a question.
Okay, so you mentioned you had 10 or 12. I mean, do you mind reading them off? So I have an idea what to.
Well, I may have
shoot for?
elaborated a little bit, but I've got hours listed down. I've got dust collection. I've got the berm. I've got the width of the berm. I've got the commitment that the commercial was going to look to a certain standard that was presented to us tonight. What else did I maybe miss on this? So maybe I exaggerated a bit.
That's okay.
But I still don't feel like it's this board's responsibility to list back out what we heard was offered up as an additional condition. Offer it to us and let us consider it. And that way it's in writing what you're agreeing to from a condition standpoint. Like I said, we see the site plan. The site plan is very small on that. It's hard for us to understand that, and especially without the site plan saying the berm's going to be this width and this height. You know, the land use is what it is, but there's a lot of things being offered here that aren't just the straight zoning, and I just think I would feel more comfortable if I knew that those straight things were listed and very specific when I made a vote.
Okay, so you're wanting us to postpone and come back with?
Well, I think this board we can decide to table it or not. We can decide to vote, but it's completely up to the board. But I know I didn't give anybody else an opportunity to discuss there, but that's just kind of where I was heading on that. It's it seems there's a need for some additional clarification related to what's being additionally provided.
I mean, I do have issues with, I deal with it all the time when I'm driving. It seems like these trucks, and it's semis, it's dump trucks, it's log trucks, it's everybody. They'll pull out, and they really don't care if you can stop or not, it seems like. I don't know. So I do have a lot of issues with a loaded truck trying to merge into traffic if they're doing, I don't know what speed limit out there is, but it's 55, they're doing 60, 65. I get all that. So that is an issue if I was driving that road every day for me.
I agree with Chairman Ryan about maybe coming back with all the additional information. And one other concern is, you know, I know a lot of concrete pours, they happen early. They happen real early, sometimes in the middle of the night. And I know how loud concrete trucks are, so I wouldn't want them peeling out from the plant and coming by. But, and I know you're, you know, agreed to a timeline, but money also talks. And, you know, all these warehouses, they pour in the middle of the night. So that's one concern of mine.
I mean, I'm not saying they would do it, but I remember watching this come up at the last commissioners meeting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was one of the commissioners who had, experience, and he says, well, we run a lot longer than that 9 to 5 type people because they got to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had properties where they were pouring concrete, midnight because that's when it worked for the cooling or however it had to work. So, that's the reason I asked about the enforcement issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's part of what to consider. I mean, certainly, the floor is about to be open for a vote one direction or the other. I will I know I just listed that there's a bunch of conditions. I will go ahead and say where I land on the use or the land use. I do think it's frontage is commercial, and I likely think the back is some industrial use at some point in the future. I just think that there needs to be some of these conditions, and whether or not it's concrete plan or what. But Highway 80 it is a busy road. No doubt about it. I mean, I live in, this is the district I live in. Utilize Highway 80 often, and I know it's a dangerous road, and I feel for anybody that has to get on and off of it. But it is what it is. It is a truck route. It is, when we look at where do we put uses, we certainly don't want to put the uses in another spot that doesn't have that kind of access from a truck standpoint. So it's a challenge. There's no doubt about it from that standpoint. But with that, is there other discussion? All right, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we table for a list of,
Extra conditional uses.
yep, extra conditional uses as listed.
All right, we have a motion to table.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Mr. Patrick and a second by Mr. Boykin to table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion for tabling passes. Do we need to list the date, or is it going to go automatically to the next meeting? 12/9? That date will be 12/9, back here at the same time. All right, thank y'all. Appreciate it. All right, moving on to the final public hearing of the evening, public hearing number 6. Michael Minor request to rezone 11.43 acres from AR1 to AR3 to allow for permitted uses in AR3. It's located at 1899 Old Louisville Road. This is the 3rd district. It's map 252, parcel 21. Ms. Chelsea.
Yes, sir. So again, the applicant is proposing to rezone that 11.43 acres to AR3. This is our agricultural residential district of 2.5 acres or more. To subdivide the parcel into 3 lots. These lots will be served by private well and private septic system. There is your wider view of where the property is located. On September 29th, 2025, the applicant did meet with staff for a technical review committee meeting. In that meeting, we discussed the AR3 zoning district and the requirements for that district. We discussed access, buffers, and of course the rezoning process. The parcel falls within the agricultural area on the future land use map, as you see here. Again, this area allows for low-density residential development that is compatible with nearby agricultural uses. Staff has reviewed the application, and it is complete, again, with the condition that Development Services must review and sign the plat, and then the plat must be recorded so the zoning can take effect.
Thank you, ma'am. So it's rezoning the entire parcel?
It is, yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, questions of the staff before we move to the applicant? All right, yes, sir. Please state your name if you would.
Michael Menard.
Welcome, Mr. Menard. Tell us a bit about what you're proposing, if there's anything you have to add from what Ms. Chelsea just listed.
We met with them, and they suggested we could, be a lot easier for 4 lots. But we got out there and stepped out to 4 lots. We decided that 3 lots would look a lot better than 4, so we backed it down a lot as far as what we're wanting to do. And we looked around. We've seen a bunch of existing lots that are half acre, 1 acre, all within a quarter of a mile. A bunch of 2 acre lots. So I think the smallest lot we're gonna have is a 3.5. So we figured there shouldn't be any issues. Got any questions?
And so the access to this piece of property is from Old Louisville, is that right?
Yeah, and it's, that lot, tract 3, does have some highway frontage.
Tract 3.
That's wetland.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It will be accessed through the recorded easement, but it does have highway access. They said it was a road back there, but I have no idea.
Okay, so this property's main access will be across an existing access easement on a different piece of property?
No, it's, yeah.
Okay. Okay, any other questions?
Y'all know more than I do. My son was supposed to do this, not me.
You're fine. Other questions of the applicant?
So looking, I don't know how to read the drawings, but where's the easement?
Right there.
That's the easement along, so it's gonna be like on the property line coming
Yes.
around, and that will feed all the 3 lots?
Yep.
Is what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I think there's another track in the back with 2 mobile homes on it also.
Well, I'll give you an opportunity to come forward if you'd like to. And so how many lots exist off this easement right now? Do we know?
I think we discussed that in the meeting. I can't
We
remember.
did, and I believe it's 2. So, actually, it is 1. As this front parcel here, has, even though it is covered there with the wetlands and the floodplain, does have road frontage. And I apologize, I meant to change the color of my cursor here. So this parcel here does have that frontage. So, even though it may use this, it does have that frontage there. Let me get you back. Here we go. I believe this parcel is accessed with that easement. So it would be technically right now it is just the 1.
Okay.
But Chelsea, is there actually, like, where those wetlands are, is there actually, like, some, a, like, cutout or road or anything through there?
No, ma'am, not that staff knows of.
So then there's not, like, an actual access right there. Correct?
That's what it appears.
Okay.
I don't know, sir, do you know, is there an existing curb cut or anything onto Louisville Road directly from that property frontage?
The people we bought it said there used to be an old road through there going out there. I have no idea. I've never been out there. The neighbors would probably know.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure they're about to have an opportunity to tell us all about it. Okay, other questions of the applicant? All right, thank you, sir. We'll stick around. We may have some additional questions here in a bit.
All right.
All right, anyone else that would like to speak in favor of this application, please come forward. All right, seeing that there are none, I'll open it up to those in opposition. We'll start 15 minutes. Yes, sir, please come forward, state your name.
My name's Hollis Howell. I live at 1891 Old Louisville Road. Plot, man, these glasses suck. 252, 19 and 20.
Okay,
So you live in that box?
You're surrounded by the...
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
The reason there's 1 acre, an acre and a half, and lots, this is all family property. It's been in the family for 120 years, 120 years, something like that. Each child got an acre. Each firstborn grandchild got an acre. I was the second-born grandchild. I didn't get an acre. My mother passed in '96, and I got the house. That's why I'm where I'm at. About 20 years ago, my uncle decided to sell this 22 and a half acres. Well, he would only allow me to buy a half an acre to try to square my lot up because my mother had it put in there like a diamond. Because at that time it didn't matter, it was all family. It wasn't gonna never go nowhere. The access road runs down the edge of my property. It's a 60-foot easement. Runs back there. The back lot, the back 11 and a half acres is where the easement actually ends. So you have my house, you have the mobile home that's there on the 11 acres. Then you have 2 mobile homes on the additional 11 acres. So that road accesses 4 residents now. The part that you're talking about that surrounds my house, because this property is in my front yard. Basically cuts through my front yard. Is a branch. It's a creek. There's a curve that is probably 16 feet. If you stand on top of my house, you're about level with the road. Because back in the 70s, it was a dirt road. They moved the dirt road. That portion of the property here in front of my house was supposed to go with the opposite side of the road. But when they moved the road, it got put into that, and my grandfather never changed it. So I understand this man's got to make money. I'm in the building industry. I work for Builders First Source. I deliver lumber day in, day out. So I know he's got to make his money. I would like to see either to stay at the 11 acres, or if nothing else, split that 11 acres into 5 acres. Because you got about an acre in this corner right here that you can do absolutely nothing about, nothing with. My fear is that whoever buys this in front of my house could go in there, put a fence up, and there's nothing I can do about it. Then I got a fence in front of my house between me and the road. There's a driveway in front of my house. It used to be a horseshoe. That's not on my property. That driveway that's existing is not on my property. So I have no road frontage, road access besides that. There's absolutely no way with wetlands and all that you can put a driveway down the side of my house. Because like I said, it's on a curve and it's banked. Trust me, I have to cut the grass. It's like this. So that's my biggest concerns. And like I said, the reason is small acreage lots is because it's all family. When I was a kid, there was about 8 families lived down there on the entire road.
Yeah.
And now there's people coming in everywhere. They drive 75 miles an hour by my house. So that's about all I got. Appreciate y'all listening to me.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate your time. Anyone else that would like to come forward and speak in opposition, please feel free to do so. How much time we got left for your time?
9 minutes.
Got about 9 minutes left on the 15.
It seems that they've kind of elected me to be the one to come up here. My name is Vera Braswell. I own the approximately 19 acres that is adjacent to this property. And I have a couple of questions. I understand that this AR3 just went into effect in August of this year.
Is it August or July? Something,
Yes.
yeah.
All right. In looking it up and also comparing it with AR1, to me, it seems that they are very similar as to what the requirements are. Both AR1 requires the 5 acres, which can be subdivided into two.
It can't be subdivided. It can have 2 residents on 5 acres.
Yeah, you can have
cannot
2
subdivide it again, though. You can have
Right,
2
you can
residents
have
on
2 residents on 5, that's what I'm trying to say, sir. And I also, correct me if I'm wrong, with this AR3, the 2.5 acres, that can also be subdivided, not subdivided, can have a second residence on it also. Am I correct or incorrect?
I believe it can. Is it accessory only, or is it a full
Right,
additional?
yes, sir, so it can have 1 primary dwelling and then 1 accessory dwelling unit.
Which means it is a bit
Okay.
subsequent to the primary dwelling. AR1 can actually have 2
Yes.
primary
AR
dwellings on it.
So, other than putting more homes on less property, there's not a whole lot of difference in the 2 AR1 and AR3. As Hollis mentioned, we The smaller lots they're AR2s because they were family handed down through the years. He also mentions that he intends to have private wells and private sewage. That may be a problem because of the wetlands. The entry into there, we've already got 4. What's the word? Residences that are there already. He has listed that only those will be allowed access on the easement, if I understand it correctly. The first part of the easement is owned by Dr. Claude Sanks, and that part is actually a public easement. There is no road access to that property because of the wetlands, and I think Hollis has already said that. Also, as I said, this has been family property for years. If I could dig my brother up and kick him, I would. Okay. But since I can't do that, if Mr. Menard is willing to leave it as it is, I don't think we would have a problem. It's the idea of sticking a whole pile of homes in this one area. He also has a residence that he has to consider in the back for the easement also. And I think that pretty well covers it.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, a bit of clarity on the AR3 and AR2. The county and the commissioners actually debated that for a while. The AR3 is actually to help prevent from having to have more of those 1 acre subdivisions that occur throughout the north end of the county. AR2 is the 1 acre. So the application to AR3 is the next step, because you're correct. AR1 right now requires 5 acres per lot. So in order to do more than 2 lots, he has to request AR3.
But he could actually, since he's only putting in for 3 residences, he could actually end up with 6 out there.
Per the code, yes, you can. Yeah.
So that's also a concern of ours.
He could end up with 4 right now, as it is. Right.
Yeah, he could have 4 now,
Yeah.
as it is. Otherwise, he could have 6. There's something else I'm missing that I wanted to say. I can't seem to think of it right now. So since I can't think of it,
That's absolutely fine. We've still got a little bit of time. We'll give you a chance to come back up if you think about it. I would like to clarify, we do have an item too that was an email from Mr. Sanks. Do I need to read it in or anything, or is it good as long as it's submitted? But it was about the access easement, and we do have that information. All the board members have that email that we received from him. So just wanted to let you know we did have some communication from him.
okay, and that is the only access to his property.
Right. Thank you. Okay, others in opposition, please come forward.
3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Ruthie Polk, and I live right down the road, but I grew up with Hollis. Hollis is my brother. And my only concern is with the more houses you put there, and that is a private access. It is on a curve, and it is the driveway, you drive up it. I will tell you, when I was 16, that's where I learned to drive my stick shift, was on that hill. So I didn't roll back on Abercorn. But the more houses you put down there, does that easement continue to be a private easement, or does it become a public access? And will it ever be county maintained? They have all their trash cans because they have to roll it up and down that hill. They line that road when we come by. They are in the process of paving our road at the moment, and they have added 1 to 2 feet on each side, which pushes those trash cans even further off the road. But my concern is a safety issue on that curve. That road was flat before they paved it when I was 8 or 9 years old, so that one of the driveways that Hollis is talking about, we did have access to it because the road was completely flat. But it had a very sharp curve, and so when the state or the county came in and paved that road, they banked it and put that huge hill in front of the house. And they took away, with the change in the property lines, it took away the driveway that was Hollis's at the time. But again, my concern is how many people are gonna be able to come in and out, and will it be public access, and the safety in that on that curve. Thank you for your time.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Oh, I have a question in a bit about something, but anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in opposition? Now's your time. I think we got a few more minutes.
1 minute, 30 seconds.
1 minute, 30 seconds. All right. If the applicant would like to come forward and address anything that they've heard, you're certainly welcome to.
All right. So from my understanding, I could put 4 units out there right now without any rezoning or anything as it sits now.
Right. So let me clarify, right? You'd have to subdivide it, right?
Right, it had to be subdivided, but I could, 5-acre lots. I wouldn't have to come
Lots.
for rezoning, just
Correct.
just go get it recorded. And I could have four houses, 2 on each one. So I'm actually backing down from what I could do without doing all this, correct?
Well, I guess technically, if you wanted to eliminate the ability to have the second unit, AR3 has the ability for a second unit as well.
Right.
So you'd technically be allowed up
Well,
to 6.
We can do this with conditions, because, we can put, brand new mobile homes out here, well, and set things and sell them, so just one property per is fine with me.
Okay.
And the little piece that you talked about as far as squaring off your driveway, I agree, it does look like wetlands. That's no use to me. I mean, I don't know if it affect what I'm trying to do, but if it doesn't, we can square that off, and if you pay for the survey, because it's useless to anyone else anyway.
All right, we'll let y'all do those deals
Right.
outside of here. Okay.
Questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So have you already had your soil test done?
No. But
So do you even know if it'll perk for all 3 septics then?
yeah, it's an old field, so it's high and
But it
dry.
has the wetlands right there. So,
It's very back of the property.
okay.
Yes.
Um,
The wetland's not any close to where the septic tank would be.
Because I was about to say, if
No,
you don't
it's-
have that, like,
No,
you might be
it's-
only be able to do,
Yeah.
but okay, so you're confident.
Yeah, that's not gonna be an issue.
All right, you haven't even had like a, satellite soil or anything pulled?
No.
Okay.
We've had our surveyor out there, and he says it's not gonna be an issue either.
Okay. And then I was also curious, is there a way that we could verify like which parcel, so like the front square parcel that I believe is that gentleman's, is there a way to verify which parcels actually have legal access to the easement? Like which ones are recorded to actually legally be using the easement? Is there a way to verify that?
Yes, ma'am, if it is within their deed work, that is how we'd be able to verify who has the actual legal access to said.
Because I think that would also give some clarity.
Question, that is a 60-foot easement through there?
Yes, per survey, for surveyor.
And it looks like there's plenty of room for it to be a full 60-foot easement.
Right, correct. Oh, yes,
I mean, it's not like you'd have to go in and do a bunch of clearing.
No,
It looks as though there's plenty of room.
It's an old field.
Right. And next question. So all 3 lots are, say this was to be approved, would be up for resale. I mean, they would all be,
Eventually, I may keep one of them, but yes.
Okay, so I'm just saying anybody would have the opportunity to buy it if it went up for resale.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha.
All right, any other questions of the applicant? So you would be, I'm not saying I know what direction the vote's gonna go, but you would be willing to put a condition that there's not a second accessory use or additional residence on any of the new lots that's created?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, all right, thank you.
They won't affect anything we're doing.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you very much. Chelsea, well, I guess we'll close the public hearing now and open it for discussion. I can never remember the answer to this. What's the code say about how many lots can be off of a private access easement?
So it used to be 3. That has changed now because when subdivisions was updated and we went from 3 being a minor and more than 3 being a major, now it is 5 because 5 lots, 5 and less lots is a simple subdivision. 6 to 9 would be your minor subdivision, and then 10 plus is your major. So it would be 5.
But 5 total, or 5 with the proposed subdivision?
So it would be 5 total.
So is he aware that he's gonna also have to have a variance to do what he's proposing to do?
That is, of course, to Lindsay's point, who actually has the access to the easement, legal access to the easement. His track there, track number 3 that he is showing, even though he doesn't use that frontage, that one will not count because it does have frontage on Old Louisville Road.
Even though you can't impact
Even though he
those
cannot.
wetlands without.
He could choose if he wanted to impact the wetlands. I mean, I know that's expensive and probably not feasible, but he has that option.
Yeah, it legally meets the requirement that it doesn't.
It does.
It's not considered off of the access easement.
Yeah, so legally it meets the easement requirements with proposed rezoning.
It does.
Right. Okay.
I'm sorry, but you're talking about Hollis having road access. He does
No.
not. He has.
Yeah, we weren't talking about him. We were actually talking about this piece of property.
Oh,
Like, it
okay.
actually does front on the road, so we have to
He does
consider.
not have road frontage. He has,
Like,
when they separated it, they had to give him an easement because he does not have any driveway. I mean.
yes, ma'am. We understand. This is about the actual subject parcel, and it does have frontage. So what we're saying is, technically, per the code, that lot's not considered accessed off the easement because it has road frontage. Whether that's practical or not, that is the code. All right, now I'm not going to debate with the audience, but I'm just telling you that's what the code says. So,
Can I ask just a
yep,
question?
absolutely.
Who maintains an easement road?
So it depends on that easement agreement. So it could be whoever has the legal access. It could be a shared maintained easement. It could be one person, but that's really done in the deed work and who civilly who they want to maintain it.
So when the easement is approved and drawn into the map, that has already been determined who is to take care of the,
So yes, sir, that's part of them working with their real estate attorney and getting that deed work completed.
and what if they don't?
So easements really are a civil issue, to be honest with you.
Okay.
All right, other questions of staff? Okay, yeah, the reason I brought it up, I'll just, from a discussion with the board standpoint, I felt like it was important for the applicant to also hear, like, just like soils, just it's like anything else, like, there may be other pieces in the code that prevent that from becoming 3 lots, even though if the zoning changes, like that access easement, if it's proven that it's more than 5 lots that are accessed off that easement, it's going to get to 5, and then there would have to be a variance approved or something of that nature to allow for that to happen. So I just wanted you to know that it happens a lot, right? That just pops up, and 5 is a fairly low number off of an easement. So just be prepared for that. Anything else before we open it for a motion? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve with the condition that we limit the living dwellings to the main dwellings and no additional.
So one per lot.
One per lot. One living dwelling per lot.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Boykin. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those are nays?
Nay.
All right, the motion for recommendation for approval has passed 4-1. Again, this will be at the Board of Commissioners meeting on December the 2nd at 6 o'clock. All right, I do believe that brings us to the end of the regularly scheduled agenda. 8:50. That was pretty good. I told Leslie about 8. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Before
Oh,
you,
I can't.
is everyone planning to be here in December?
I was.
Yes.
Unless we're getting the month off.
We do want to do a workshop in December.
Okay. Do we need to announce that? Or is it just going to be publicly noticed, right?
Yes, it's gonna be
Yeah,
public,
okay.
okay?
What time?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock? Okay. All right. Well,
I make a motion to dismiss.
all right. Adjourn.
Adjourn, sorry.
Thank you. We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. No nays. Thank you.
Workshop, 5